Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org. I'm Sam Ellard, and joining me to look ahead to all of the Premier League games this weekend is Lee Phelps from William Hill. Hi Lee, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Lee, let's start with Final One Standing. As always, plenty going on and plenty of money being given away.
Oh, last weekend was crazy. Imagine you watch Brighton versus Bournemouth, Monday Night Football, and if Brighton don't win, you take home £200,000. So someone had, going into the weekend last weekend, we had two players pick Spurs, one picked Leeds, one picked Brighton. Spurs, obviously, Leeds got through. What was it? It's stoppage time. And then you sat there waiting and they go a goal down, they get a goal back. And that one person who picked Leeds took home £200,000. Incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. We had a few other winners last weekend as well. We had individual winners taking home a few £20,000 pots as well. So the winners just keep coming in. Over 1.25 million has been won now since the start of the season. And we've got a new game starting this Saturday, 20k again, 3 p.m. deadline to get your picks in. You've got to pick a Premier League team to win. If they do, you go through. If they don't, then you're out. So if you've been knocked out before, you've never played, or maybe you've just won 200k, Sam, you want to have another go, you can play again this Saturday. 20K.
Yeah, go again. Amazing stuff. Yeah, fair play to that. I mean, I imagine he was on the edge of his seat watching Brighton versus Bournemouth. Surprised you didn't mention another kind of sort of thing that came in on Wednesday night, Lee, that was quite noticeable and quite eye-catching as well.
There was a I think a couple of hackers landed, didn't they?
A broken clock is right twice today. There we go. Not that this show's about me, but a 5-team Macca came in on Wednesday night. I don't think William Hill will be too upset that I won my £25
I think we're all right. Yeah, I checked with the traders and the commercial.
Are you still going strong?
Okay.
Yeah,
we've soaked it up. Yeah.
Good news. Please don't go anywhere, Lee Phelps. Let's go game by game, shall we, to the Premier League this weekend. West Ham, Sunderland, Saturday, 12:30. West Ham beating Spurs last weekend, ending a 10-game winless run. They're still 5 points behind 17th place Nottingham Forest. West Ham have lost just one of their 12 home Premier League games against Sunderland. But these are the sort of games, home against teams that are mid-table and below, that are just must-win now for West Ham, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're 7-5 to win this. The draw's 9-4, and Sunderland just a shade under 2-1 at 19-10. The remaining two AFCON players are back for the Black Cats. The form away from the Stadium of Light obviously has been what's let them down this season. If anything's let them down, 1-2, drawn 4, lost 5, scored 5 away goals. But they have been to City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Palace when they were good. So, it's not like they've been going to kind of poor teams. I don't expect them necessarily to win here because it's hard to back them with that. But I expect goals in the game, even though they don't score many. West Ham do concede them, haven't kept a clean sheet in any of the last 19 Premier League games. So the stats say they'll concede. We've been talking about Crescencio Somerville all season, haven't we? And he went 28 games without a goal, but has scored in his last 2 appearances. So maybe looking at him to score at least a shot on target, it just seems to have a new lease of life. Last few games, Enzo Lefebvre shot on target as well. He's been in and amongst the attacking threat for Sunderland. I'll go draw on both teams to score to open us up. 1-1, 12:30 game.
Burnley, Tottenham, one of 3 o'clock games in the Premier League. Burnley, back-to-back draws against Liverpool and Manchester United. They've only lost 2 of their last 6 games, but are drawing lots of games. They haven't won since late October. That's 13 games. They're 8 from safety. Lots of work to do for Tottenham and Thomas Frank. A smidgen of respite, perhaps, after that really impressive victory in the week in the Champions League against Borussia Dortmund. 67% of the points they've collected this season, Spurs, have been away from home. Only Arsenal on the road have picked up more points than them this season in the Premier League. Maybe just fancy Spurs, despite some injuries, to carry on their decent away form in the Premier League, Lee?
Yeah, it's amazing that they're second best team in the Premier League, despite winning 1 in 6, 5 points from a possible 15 on the road in the last in the last few games. So yeah, I find it interesting that yeah, it was a good win for Spurs, wasn't it? And a good 45 minutes against West Ham. We were in the studio, weren't we, with Abby Summers, and she was kind of apoplectic as usual at the end of it. But I know it's not enough, but maybe it's time for Spurs to accept that this is who they are at the moment. Why are they expecting to be kind of beating every single team? Now, they will be expecting to go to Burnley and win, because most teams in the Premier League, should be going to Burnley and winning. They're winless in 13 games now, 4 draws in the last 6 in the league. So that they're not getting beaten every week. Impressed with Wilson Odobert, and Dominic Solanke obviously came back and was instrumental on Tuesday. I thought Odobert set 2 up against Dortmund. He's 11-2 to assist a goal here,
Nice.
which I think is a good price if he carries on that form. Solanke's 7-4 to score. I agree with you. I think Tottenham should win. I'm not sure I'd be backing them at even money to win, though.
I think Fulham Brighton, Lee, I don't know about you, but I think Fulham Brighton, 11th v 12th, 1 point separates the two teams. Fulham Brighton just screams draw, doesn't it? Like, should we just say draw and move on here?
Oh, no, I disagree, actually. I think, yes, Fulham at 6-4, I think, is a decent price. 23-10 the draw, and Brighton are 7-4. So there's not much in it in the betting, as you suggest. It's a classic mid-table Premier League matchup, isn't it? But Fulham will be probably happy to be talked about as being like, yeah, you're a mid-table team. They're not fighting any relegation battles. I thought they were maybe unlucky to lose at Leeds last week. Probably deserved the draw. Brighton didn't put up a great performance in that 1-1 draw we talked about. Fulham have won 9 of 14 in all competitions at home. Seagulls not great away. I go home win here. Harry Wilson, by the way, scored 6 of his 8 in all competitions at Craven Cottage. He's 15-8 to score here. I think that's a cracking bet as well. I really like, when you've got the odds in that favour, and it shouldn't be that big a price, I don't think.
Fulham to win and Wilson to score could be a really good little double there, right?
Yeah, like it.
City v Wolves. One side goes this in good form, the other side not such good form. Who would have thought a couple of weeks ago it'd be Wolves coming into this game in good form and not Man City. City, no wins in 4 in the league. They're 7 behind Arsenal, had that awful result and performance in the week against Bodo Glimt. Wolves are 14th from safety. I think we all know now they're going to get relegated, but they are unbeaten in 5 across all competitions. Lee, might there just be a couple of people, I'm guessing you're about to tell me without looking at the Wolves are 12, 10, 14 to 1 to win at Man City? Might there be a few people that think, okay, it's worth a couple of pounds maybe?
Well, 10 to 1 they are, so it's probably not quite as big as you would have liked. That that gives them like a 9% chance of winning. Do they win 9 games out of 100 at Man City?
I still don't think so.
Don't know. I mean, it's hard. But which result was worse, Man United in the derby or Bodo Glimt? I mean,
oh, godly, that's a hard question to answer. I mean, maybe Bodo Glimt. I mean, with United, it's a derby. United had a new manager. United were at home. With all due respect to the Bodo Glimt fans that love this preview show that we put together, I mean, I think, the capacity of the town there is the same as Man City's stadium. So that from Man City, it wasn't even just the result, it was the performance. They were bullied, they were outplayed, they were outclassed. And you know what? It could have been worse than 3. It could have been 5s and 6s for Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, this is an absolute free hit for Wolves, isn't it? They've got a bit of confidence about them. They've got a little bit of togetherness now. And surely the manager just says to them, just go out there and have a right go at them. Really get into them early on, because they are wobbling a little bit. I'm not saying they win, by the way, at all. It's 11-2 the draw. Maybe you go Wolves plus a couple of goals. But look, if City get back on track, you just made to look an idiot, because they could win this 4-0, couldn't they? If you're not getting involved in the outrights, and look, Man City, in terms of the new leagues and the leagues where Man City is still available in Final One standing, they are by far and away the biggest pick of the weekend in Final One standing, and they should get the job done at 2-9. And they'll be going in accumulators galore. You got Aka boost. You need 4 or more picks to get a boost on that. Just in terms of what happens within the game, if City do get goals, Antoine Semenya's had 14 goal involvements in the last 16 home games that he's played, obviously most of them for his previous club. 10 goals, 4 assists, one of those assists against Wolves already this season. And as for Wolves, Matheus Mane, he seems to revel playing the bigger clubs. He was man of the match against Manchester United. He played really well against Liverpool. Over 1 shot on target here is 15-4. A goal for him has been boosted to 6-1. It might be a bit of a stretch thinking Wolves go and score at Man City. Traditionally, City are brilliant against this type of club, the clubs who are really struggling. But yeah, look, I might just chance Man City to win and both teams to score.
We have one more game on Saturday, Lee. That's the 5:30 game, Bournemouth-Liverpool. Liverpool's unbeaten run now stretches to 13. It was better in the week against Marseille, but it's still the least convincing unbeaten run I think I've seen in a long, long time that goes this long. They have drawn, though, lots of those games, including their last 4 in the Premier League, but are still 4th in the table. But just 6 points separates Liverpool in 4th and Brighton down in 12th, so it's quite tight. Bournemouth have won 1 of their last 13 Premier League games, and Liverpool have won 12 of their last 13 Premier League games against Bournemouth. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I don't think it's going to be convincing. It might be tight, but just edging Liverpool, Hilly.
Yeah, I mean, the 17-20, which is surprising, really, isn't it? Just a touch of odds on. The draw is 14-5, so just under 3-1 there, and 13-5 for Bournemouth. Like you said there, that 1 win in the last 13, but only lost 2 of the last 12 at the Vitality. Do you know what? Bournemouth have led against Arsenal, Newcastle, and Brighton, of course, on Monday, but lost 2 and drew with Brighton. Obviously, beat Tottenham recently. You know, if they could get the job done, then they'd be much further on. But actually, you could say the same against Liverpool. We were sat next to each other on talkSPORT Goals last weekend when Liverpool played Burnley, and I said, I think it won when the penalty was missed. I said before that penalty was hit, right, this is Liverpool to stretch out in front of here. And you said to me, not so sure. And you were right. So I don't know what gives me confidence to think that Liverpool maybe go a goal up and then can get the job done. I don't know. I think there should be goals in it. Even though they've lost Antoine Semenyo, they've still got good players in that team, and goal scorers as well. 8 of Liverpool's last 11 on the road have seen 3 or more goals, and the last 8 for the Cherries have seen both teams scoring. So I think you'd be adding goals in there. Don't see Liverpool keeping a clean sheet. Mo Salah, of course, is back. 12 goals in 12 games against Bournemouth. Opened the scoring in 2 of them at the Vitality. And there's an epic boost on this one. Liverpool to score first at even money. That epic boost landed on Wednesday on the south coast of France, and you wonder if they can repeat it on the south coast of England. I'd go Liverpool. Liverpool and both teams to score, I think, because I think Bournemouth will just have a go.
Another unconvincing Liverpool game where they don't lose to stretch the most unconvincing unbeaten run of all time to 14 games. 5 games done, 5 games to go. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, which is new from William Hill. It is 18+, gambleaware.org. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org. It's Sam Ellard and Lee Phelps from William Hill taking you through game by game this weekend's Premier League action. We've done Saturday, we moved to Sunday where we got 3 2:00 games, including Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. Only the top 3 in the Premier League this season have earned more points at home than Brentford. Forest are 1 place above the bottom 3, and there were boos on Thursday night away from home in Braga. The Nottingham Forest fans didn't like the result, clearly, but also didn't like the performance. It feels like a big game for Sean Dyche, Nottingham Forest. But Brentford, Lee, we watched them a lot on talkSPORT Goals this season, and more often than not, at home, they win.
Yeah, they're a good side, aren't they? They've got goals, of course. They know what they're about. They know how to play. I mean, that loss to Chelsea, they had more possession, more shots on target, more big chances, more corners at Stamford Bridge, by the way. That was the first loss since losing at Man City in the League Cup mid-December. They'd won 5 and drawn 1 in between them. 10-11 the price, yes. I prefer Brentford at 10-11 than the likes of Liverpool odds on to go away and win at Bournemouth. I mean, it sounds mad what I've just said there, doesn't it? But I just think, yeah, definitely.
With the form they're in, Lee, at home they're fantastic. They've got a really good record there. Attacking-wise, so many of their good players are in good form. And this Forest team is so hot and cold at the moment.
Yeah, they're struggling, aren't they? I mean, you mentioned Brentford's home form. The goals as well, they scored 3 against Sunderland, who have been lauded, scored 4 against Bournemouth, scored 3 against Burnley, 3 against Newcastle, 3 against Liverpool, 3 against Man United. I mean, jeez, what more convincing do you need? Thiago's obviously fantastic season. It's a career-defining season for him. Best season he's ever had any league anywhere, and it's the hardest league he's ever played in. Obviously, Kevin Schade playing well as well. Should have scored last weekend. We put him up to score, should have done. Brentford -1 on the handicap, so you need a 2-goal victory in whatever form that comes. That's 13-5. Don't mind it. Bet builder maybe -1 on the handicap. Schade to score or assist. Thiago to score. That's 11-2. You get impact sub on the player element to that as well. So I'm looking forward to watching this one on Sunday when we're on talkSPORT Goals.
Yeah, we've got some good games at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock before the 4:30 game. Arsenal, Man United, Palace, Chelsea. Palace winners in their last 16 in Premier League games against Chelsea, which sounds remarkable, doesn't it? So many games
Yeah.
without a victory. Their recent form in the Premier League is bad. Only Burnley are on a longer winless run in the Premier League than Palace, who are at 7. Chelsea looking for back-to-back wins in the Premier League for the first time since November. Maybe one. If you fancy Palace here, one sort of positive for them is that Ismaila Sarr's back in training. I'm not sure whether he'll start on the weekend or maybe come off the bench, but he's going to be so important for them coming back. But it just feels like at the moment with Palace, everything's going wrong. And I think whoever they played this weekend, maybe apart from Burnley, I fancy the other team to win.
Yeah. I on my notes just put poor Palace. The season's like imploded, hasn't it? As well as everything else that's going on. Like you said, that the form's poor. Mateta now saying he wants to go. Yeah, look, I'm not mad keen on Chelsea. I thought they were, like I just said, I thought they got away with it a little bit against Brentford.
And in the weekend of
Probably
Champions League, they weren't convincing either, weren't they? Yeah, exactly.
So but a win is a win, isn't it? You can't criticize teams for winning, even if they're not doing it right. The new manager Liam Rosinha's he's got in there, he's got results, hasn't he? The Cole Palmer stuff's weird, isn't it? This whole stuff around Cole Palmer. Like United have had one good result, and then apparently they're going to sign one of England's best players. It's like, what? It just makes no sense to me. I think
he's a United fan though, isn't he? As a kid, I think that's maybe why that makes more sense than just
mad where it's come from. It's mad that just pops up all of a sudden. It wouldn't have popped up if Man United had been beaten 4-0 by City. I tell you that right now. But anyway, the terrible record Palace against Chelsea, like you say. Chelsea are even money. 5-2 the draw. 12-5 Palace. I think both teams will score. Yeremy Pino's scored in back-to-backs. Maybe look at shots on target for him. Mentioned Cole Palmer. He scored first in this game last season. He's 5-1 to do that. 19-10 to score at any time. He's picking up more yellows than goals at the minute, though. 19-5 to pick up a card. But yeah, let's go Chelsea. My favourite bet, isn't it? A team to win and both teams to score. But I just think it gives you that extra little bit of value when I can definitely see Palace scoring in the game. But yeah, you'd have to edge Chelsea just to get the job done in the end. I just think Palace are just so tired that they can't last a full 90 minutes.
One more 3 o'clock, a 2 o'clock game on Sunday is Newcastle, Aston Villa. Newcastle did have 3 wins in a row in the Premier League before drawing against Wolves last Sunday, 0-0 at Molineux. They did win though in the week really well against PSV. Villa did lose last weekend to Everton, but 8 clear of 5th place Manchester United. Got a nice sort of cushion, if you like, between 5th place, although that this season could possibly be Champions League football. Newcastle unbeaten in their last 17 home games against Villa. Newcastle unbeaten in their last 8 Premier League games. I really like Fulham Brighton as a draw, and I think I like Newcastle Villa to be a draw here as well. Lee, how do you see it?
Yeah, I can see that. 13-5 the price for the draw. The same price for Aston Villa actually, and Newcastle are a touch of odds on at 19-20. After all the praise that we've heaped on Villa and Unai Emery, they were outsmarted by Everton and David Moyes last week, weren't they? That ability to play great direct passing football through the middle of the park, and and they just got shut down. I think Everton played really, really well. John McGinn's going to be a big miss, isn't he? He's obviously picked up an injury, and I haven't heard how long he's out for, but it sounds like it could be a little while. Newcastle were really poor last weekend as well, but they're just like chalk and cheese home and away, aren't they? So, back at home, you have to favour them. My first instinct was that they shouldn't be odds on against Aston Villa, but then I guess you have to also play in the fact that Villa were away on Thursday in Europe. Newcastle were home on Wednesday. That has to come into it, doesn't it? Both teams to score is a definite for me here. I like shots from Johan Wissa. Hopefully he starts to find a bit of form in the Premier League, mainly for my bet against you on Isak. And Rodgers for a shot on target, maybe if you're looking at a bet builder. There's a few good games for a bet builder, so we must remember on talkSPORT goals, let's try and put one up, because we haven't had much luck in recent weeks, have we?
Yeah, you surprised a little bit the Villa at that price. I take the point you mentioned there, but they are still third in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. I am surprised. I think, if I was a Villa fan, I'd be backing them, to be fair. The only thing that is worrying is that if you add Newcastle's home form to the fact that Villa have had a tougher week, that might tell in the last 10, 15 minutes, might it?
Arsenal, Man United, Sunday 4:30, always one of the best games in the calendar. We know that Arsenal are flying top of the Premier League. Another victory for them in the week in the Champions League. Really almost comfortable. You know, them going to Inter Milan and winning almost just feels normal now, doesn't it? Because that's how good they are. But I guess maybe this game feels even more intriguing given what Man United did last week. New manager Michael Carrick, really good at home to City, good performance, and maybe, you know, people now might fancy United to go to Arsenal and do something. That performance last week, Lee, will give them real confidence, real credit. They can go to Arsenal and do something. And I guess the game plan, I imagine, would be almost the same. Try and sit deep, be compact, and use that pace on the counter-attack.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, like I just said, it does make me laugh how much people overreact, you know, about Man United are back. It's
I didn't say they're back. I said it was a good performance.
No, not you. No, I did not even not you, and I'm not referring to talkSPORT. I've just seen it on other, you know, on other platforms. Like it's like, I mean, let's just take a. But if they put in another performance here, then we do start to, and you know, can they do Man City a bit of a favour? And remember the game, the opening weekend of the Premier League, I think it was, when they lost 1-0 at home. When I look back at the stats, because I had a vague recollection that they were a little unlucky in that game. So Arsenal set up with, like, you know, as they have done all season. Man United set up like, and I think Mason Mount was up front, like, and there was like they had 61% possession compared to 39 for Arsenal. They had 22 shots to Arsenal's 9, 7 on target to Arsenal's 3. Arsenal won 1-0. So that is the sucker punch. And look what Arsenal have gone on to do. They're odds on to win this game, as you'd expect, at home. 3-1 the draw, which, you know, isn't bad. You know, Man United's price, which it was 9-2. I see it's just changed as I'm looking at. It's gone 24-5. So that's just a tiny bit under 5-1. I mean, given what we saw last week, if Carrick's had a week and the rest of his coaching staff have had a week with him on the training ground, and look what they did in a few days. I mean, I must admit, I don't know why, but I'm tempted by nearly 5-1.
I feel like they won't be 5-1 by the time we get to the studio on Sunday at 2 o'clock.
It's a real tempter, though, isn't it? Look out for the epic boost on that. It's going to be around goals. We'll remind you of that on Sunday when we're on talkSPORT goals. But yeah, there's something about this. I mean, I hope we're just not. You know, I hope after the game we're not. No affiliation to Man United at all. But you know, it'd be great for the title race to see Arsenal just chip back a little bit. Yeah, but it'd be mad if Arsenal absolutely batter Man United. And everyone's like, oh yeah, just back to normal then.
Michael Carrick out, maybe. Who knows? No, I'm joking. Lee, I'm sorry that I had to leave this game last because I'm guessing, as the #1 fan of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, this is probably your favourite game of the whole entire season, isn't it? Of course, Everton legend Dominic Calvert-Lewin returning to Merseyside with Leeds United. Do you want to dedicate the next 90 seconds of this part of the show to your, I think you call him the greatest striker in Premier League history, right?
Just because I put him up once or twice early in the season, and then it's come true in the end. But yeah, I mean, that was when we were talking about him early in the season. The whole basis of my argument when he scored a couple of goals was that when you look at his shots to goals ratio when he did play for Everton, obviously that was the best part of his career until now. Then I was kind of making the argument that if he can do that again and he stays fit, then that's what he can achieve. And he has gone on to prove that, hasn't he? He's 29-20 to score here. Bit short, isn't it? Away from home, even though it is at Everton, and you've got to factor in.
That's your fault that he's so short, Lee. You're talking bigging him up.
Yeah, we call it like a mug bet when a player goes back to his old club, but it does happen, doesn't it? It happens a lot. 15-4 to score first. It's an intriguing game, this, isn't it? Because Leeds obviously have built their success on the home form more than the away. Everton, you never quite. I was talking to an Everton fan yesterday, and I was saying, like, what is it with your team? Like, I can't predict what they're going to do and he was like, no, neither can we, to be fair. Few injuries, which is a shame. Grealish is out. Obviously, AFCON players coming back there, whether they'll start or not.
So important, isn't it?
Hopefully they do start. They've got enough time before Monday that they can start. I mean, most of the AFCON players who've come back, and as long as they're not injured, have gone straight into the teams, haven't they? So
Salah can start on Wednesday night. You're guessing Ndiaye can start on the Monday night, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You would think so, wouldn't you? So check the team news on that one. But Everton 29-20. The draw 21-10, Leeds 19-10. If Everton play like they did against Aston Villa, 29-20 is a good price against a Leeds team who do struggle away from home. So I'll go Everton to win that one.
Yeah, Lee, just I'm guessing that obviously the top, we know that Arsenal are going to be pretty short to win, but interested down at relegation. You know, West Ham picking up that big victory. Nottingham Forest very up and down at the moment. Has there been much change in any outright odds for the top and bottom of the Premier League?
Well, they've got like Wolves. I mean, remember Wolves were a ridiculous. I mean, they're still very very short price, but they've come into 80-1 on, which they're going down. 40-1 on for Burnley. West Ham now 1-4. Forest 11-2. So still a big gap between the two of them. Then 10-1 Leeds. But Forest, look, that you just kind of think, have they just about done enough? Don't you? It's hard to see how they can drop off to such an extent. I guess more to the point, can West Ham really put together a run of results that will claw Forest back? I think they've left it so late, the bottom three clubs, that they're going to have to go on a really impressive run to try and hold them back in. But that's not to say that Forest shouldn't be nervous, because they need to start getting some results. The honeymoon period is well and truly over for Sean Dyche.
League stuff. Thank you as always. I'll see you Sunday.
Can't wait.
Thank you for watching the talkSPORT Goals preview show. Join us from 2 o'clock this Sunday on the talkSPORT YouTube channel and on your smart TVs, and we'll keep you across all of the Premier League action. We'll see you then.